welcome back to another season of the Chicago White Sox March to October. After making a shocking run in 2024 to win the World Series, starting the year as the lowest ranked team in all of baseball, we're taking the field on opening day here in year 2 to defend our title. And we're coming off of a relatively modest offseason, but a big offseason nonetheless, where we signed a couple of big bullpen arms in Clay Holmes and a 91 overall Tanner Scott. We also add Jordan Montgomery to the rotation, making his return to the MLB after a year off. Along with our top prospect getting the call on opening day, he made the roster. Colson Montgomery is here at a 76 overall, and those moves and a couple other signings to bolster the rest of the roster have us ranked up at 6th overall heading into year 2. But it all starts here on opening day, so let's make sure we get the season started off right. And one thing I actually didn't realize while I was recording that intro was that these opening day lineups were before I set them myself. So Colson Montgomery won't be making his MLB debut today, at least not yet. CPU didn't have him starting against lefties, so we have another one of our new signings here, Garrett Hampson, getting the opening day start and my first at bat of year 2. Ooh, at the bottom of the screen there, Mike Trout is 1 home run away from 400. Who knows? I could be the one to give it up to him. And we're gonna get on base. I worked it back to a 3-2 count, slowed the bat down enough to hit the circle change the other way. I like that out of Hampson, our new guy. So I also wanted to bring up pretty early on here that I know at the end of the offseason episode, and obviously so far into this one, I didn't really go over what our opening day roster is looking like. And a lot of that was because the CPU made some decisions, and I may or may not have spent way too long complaining about those decisions. So I had to cut it out of the last episode because it added an unnecessary amount of time on the end. So we will be doing a dive into what our opening day roster looks like after we finish opening day here today. Oh my god, there's no way I missed that. I thought I saw it. I really did. You know, they keep trying to pick off Hampson. They're slide stepping out there, and that really does make me think. I do like that dynamic that Garrett Hampson brings to the team, because that was something I felt like was missing, especially in the postseason, is we didn't really have a great pinch runner option if we needed some speed off the bench. Hampson brings the speed. He can field a lot of different positions. He is like the ideal utility man. And you know what? Actually, here on a 3-2 count, I'm going to take off with him. And we'll draw the walk anyway. Oh, I wanted that. That was the pitch I was looking for, and I was too amped up on it. 96 up and in, and I'm early. Oh, and he gave it to me again, and I wasn't ready for it. We are going to be able to get to third on this. Man, that was close to leaving, actually. Come on, get through. Oh, we didn't quite hit it hard enough, and he's not fast enough to run it out. So, man, we got something going. Couldn't bring anybody around to score, but that's okay. We still have a lot of game left. So here we go. Opening day starter, Dylan Cease, reigning Cy Young Award winner. And all that coming after maybe starting this March to October, just hours in time before Dylan Cease would have been off the roster, and he's been one of the most important parts of this team. And there we go, picking up our first strikeout with Cease of the year on the knuckle curve. Oh, and that's 9 punch outs on the day with 1 out in the 6th. Cease actually has way too much energy still remaining, so he might be locked into this one for quite some time. Here I load up the bullpen in the offseason, and opening day, Cease is going to handle it all himself. There we go. We get to see Hampson at short for the first time. If we do later in this game get a new pitcher in, and that pitcher's a righty, I might bring in Montgomery off the bench just so I can get his MLB debut on opening day here. I want to see what he's got. And that one's over to Duran at second base. Gave the middle infield some work there. Cease with another scoreless one. And it's time for us to score. Ooh, I should not be taking that. That's a straight fastball. You gotta at least put a swing on it. Oh, he went to the same pitch, and I'm ready for it that time. I actually hit that a lot weaker than I thought I did off the bat. Moncada, no, I'm a little bit too far under that. Oh, that would have been such a good swing. I feel like I am right on the cusp of getting the big swing, and I just can't do it. We got to bring that run around. Oh, and I ripped that one, man. You got to give Fletcher some love, lefty like that, if he's going to hit it that hard. You know what? One thing that I can't remember doing last season that I always kind of like to do in March to Octobers is just kind of a little checkup on Mike Trout, just to see what kind of numbers he's putting up in our make-believe universe. And honestly, last season for him, obviously this is a good year. It's a great year even, but it's not quite the kind of year that we've seen Mike Trout have in March to Octobers in the last couple of years. So maybe Mike Trout's not as ridiculous and overpowered as he kind of tends to be. And you know what? I definitely shouldn't have said that just now, especially with him being one homer away from 400. No, we're safe from the homer. We're just going to give up a hit. There we go. We got him chasing that slider. That was a really good pitch. Oh, that could be two. It probably should be two. And with 99 arm from Duran, it's definitely two. It looks like they're sticking with Detmers, so I'm going to stick with Hampson. That was supposed to be a check, and it's not going to drop in. Man, I know that dropped all the way down to 91 miles per hour when he's been sitting mid-90s. But for me to be timing up the fastball that gets that far up and in, come on, man. This has got to be the time we do something. He's running way low on energy. He's up over 100 pitches. That velocity's dipping. And I'm going to get the fastball right down the middle and not do anything with it. Vlad, no, I think I missed that too. Unless that carries more than it looks like. Nope. I definitely got a couple pitches to do damage on there, and we're not doing damage. Okay, a one pitch out. I mean, that helps us not to run low on energy with Cease. Not like that's really an issue, though. He's still almost at half of his energy left. He's only had 78 pitches after that one. Oh, but we're going to be giving up another base hit up the middle. I do have the bullpen up and ready to go, just in case. Oh, and there we go. An easy 3-pitch punch out there. And there's another one. We don't need the bullpen. What was I thinking? All right, we got to score here, man. They're going to a new arm. It's the 9th inning. We can't go into the bottom of the 9th with it tied with the threat of getting walked off. This is actually a tougher matchup than I realized, though. Yeah, just checked in on him, and this dude has 98 hits per 9. I was going to say, this looks like a small PCI. It's because it is. All right, I'll take a walk. After that first pitch, there was really no hittable pitches. So I'll get some speed on first there. Oh my God, he threw everything off speed that at bat, and I was looking for only the fastball, apparently. Man, I want to steal so bad. I don't think that's a good idea. Well, it wasn't on that one, and no, please get out of play. Don't. No! He really slide-stepped a fastball right down the pipe, and I popped it up foul. I wasn't even... Oh, I guess I was early. That was the problem. I was going to say, I wasn't even that far off of it. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea to steal during this at-bat. Now that we already have 2 outs, that was supposed to be a check swing game. Did they give me the check? Okay, they gave me the check, and we move up to second. And it doesn't even matter because I can't. All right, well, we leave Cease in. He has so much energy left. I mean, wouldn't that be fun if he gets through this inning quick and then he just pitches the 10th? Just a 10-inning complete game. Wow, Nolan Shanuel does not want that to happen. He is fouling everything off. Oh, and then he's really going to do that? Oh, my God. And Robert just stood there dumbfounded when that went off his bat. And I really... What an opening day, guys. You make one mistake in 4 innings on the mound. One mistake, and it just has to be at the point where it ends the game. I don't even know. I honestly don't even know if that was a mistake I made. I wasn't paying enough attention to see if it was a bad release or if I was just unlucky and it snuck more down the middle with where the par put it. That is not a good tone to set, especially when I'm already planning on being frustrated talking about our rosters. Now I'm just going to be even more high-strung. But look at that. A loss on opening day for 3 snowflakes, and then we get an extra snowflake for getting shut out. That is definitely going to hurt to start a new year. So how badly is this going to go for us? I seem to remember last year we played right away on game 2 of the year, and that would really help right now. If we can just play the second game, win it, erase this negative. No, the game's not going to be nice. Okay. You win, they throw you into the fire. You lose. They're just like, all right, ride this out, see what happens. At least we won a game. We didn't get swept, so there's that. 1-4 to start this season. And even though this next game here against the A's looks like it's going to be pretty short, that is going to be it for gameplay in this episode. Just because I imagine, knowing me, talking about the rosters, talking about our trade management setup, it's probably going to take a little bit longer than it needs to. So I don't want this to run too long. So if that's where you guys leave, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. But the real ones will stick with me and dive into these rosters with me. So let's do that first by heading into the lineup screen, and we have this now set up the way that I want it to. That opening day game was the default CPU batting order and lineup and all that. So I have it looking very similar, maybe even identical, I don't quite remember, to how we had it set up last year. Obviously, with the one difference being Colson Montgomery is here and he's our starting shortstop. And then just like last year, after the Vlad trade, we have Moncada sitting on the bench against the righties, along with Hampson as our utility guy, Max Stassi the backup catcher, and then for our first CPU head scratcher, somehow Estevan Florial is here. And we'll definitely be seeing more of these, but the CPU in March to October really likes to make random, usually 1-year signings, and these are the sort of things that you don't get any control over. That's kind of what you give up when you play March to October, is you put a lot of decisions in the hands of the CPU. There's not a whole lot of roster control, and when they sign a guy like Estevan Florial, who is still, you know, at the point where he's got a renewable contract, but his minor league options are used up, that's probably why he's here. And this won't be the last time we see this, but the CPU, they see he's out of minor league options, they panic, they don't want to release him, even though this is not somebody we need now or for the future. And then even worse, this year, we learned in year 1, is when somebody's out of minor league options like this, we don't even have the option to send them down in the few occasions that we would actually have a chance to choose who gets called up and sent down. But that's kind of it for the offense. The offense is looking very much the same as last year, with the exception of bringing Montgomery up, bringing Hampson in, and then Florial being here. The pitching... The pitching is where it really gets fun. So obviously we have Cease, we have Eater, we have my new signing of Jordan Montgomery, who looks like he had a great first start. But then the first auto signing on the pitching side to get into is Kyle Hendricks, who actually looked like he legitimately had a good first outing. But this is one I'm actually not too mad about, because I was looking at Hendricks to bring in anyway, and they brought him in on only a 1-year deal. So it doesn't really matter how much we pay him. And at a 79 overall, I really don't think this is a bad signing. This is actually probably a good arm to bring in, as long as he doesn't regress, which I'm not going to read too much into the sporadic -1s here, because that usually happens with just about everybody in the first month of a new season. And then moving into the bullpen, this is where it really starts to get interesting, because we have Tukey here. The CPU didn't send him down. They have him still on our big league team, which is what I wanted, but the reasoning behind it is the fact that he's another guy who's out of minor league options, so he's stuck on the big league team. It's just this one isn't that bad because he was really good for us last year. He's got that B potential. He's hopefully going to continue to get better. What I'm not fine with is our other long reliever, Davy Garcia, is back. And we all know the reason by now. It's because he is out of minor league options. So once again, the CPU roster manager just freaks out. It's like, oh, if we send him down, he's going to have to pass through waivers and we could lose out on him. Who cares? We don't need him. We don't need a 60 overall. I know he's got a good potential and he's relatively young, but we're a team contending now. We don't need to protect a guy who's not quite there yet when we have people who should be on the roster instead of him, and we will get into that in a second. Don't even worry. Because going to the rest of the bullpen here, we have Tanner Scott, who I don't have as the closer, even though he is a closer, and he's who the CPU thinks should be closer. But after what Garrett Crochet did last year, he gave up 1 run in 39 saves and won the Reliever of the Year award. he's not moving from that closer spot until we have a reason to move him. But this cluster of these 5 arms here are all free agent signings, even if John Brebbia is technically just coming back. But he was another guy right there next to Kyle Hendricks, who got automatically signed by the CPU at the end of the offseason. This one does make me angry because, again, he's on our roster, our major league roster in the bullpen over some arms that he definitely shouldn't be here over. And if the CPU would have just stayed out of my business and didn't bother bringing him back, we'd at least have one more person up in the big leagues that I would want to have right now. So we've gone through all 26 roster spots. We see who's here. Now let's talk about who's not here. And to do that, really the only way in March to October still that you can look at your roster anywhere near in depth is from the trade management screen. If you go down to either Untouchables or Players to Shop, but we'll go to Untouchables first because I want to actually talk about the Players to Shop later. But first things first, if you're wondering not only why is Estevan Florial here, but where is Gavin Sheets? Gavin Sheets is gone. In another move by the CPU roster management, they must have non-tendered Gavin Sheets because he was still under team control. Probably would have been an arbitration year. I would have been fine bringing him back, especially over Florial, but he's just out of the organization completely. He is gone. So, but my big issues still come back to the pitching, and the first big one that's gone is Jared Schuster. You know, I get that he does have minor league options available, so that's why he was sent down over Davy Garcia, over Tukey even. And I'm trying to look on the bright side actually about this move specifically, because even though this means we're missing out on a 76 overall that could be on our MLB team, what this could mean that would be good for us is now that he's back in the minors, if we're lucky, we could get another call-up chance with him, which would get him another attribute boost, and then that would give us a chance to turn him into an 80 plus overall, which would obviously be huge. But where it really gets frustrating for me is clicking one over and seeing what relief pitchers are stuck down here in the minors over some of the people we have up in the majors. The first one being Tyler Wells. I mean, this is another 76 overall. He's an established veteran at this point. We went out and traded for him last year, and he became, I think at the time of the trade, our highest rated arm in the bullpen. It was either that or second highest. But no, the CPU just has to make sure we hold on to Davy Garcia. They had to go out and sign John Brebbia. Like, it's the Brebbia signing that really gets me, because like the CPU went out of its way to automatically sign a worse arm for no reason when we have Tyler Wells sitting right here, and for some reason it just decided, no, we can keep him in AAA. I don't know. It's just frustrating, and it's about to get even more frustrating because Joe Barlow was still on the roster. I wasn't sure what was going on with him because in the contract screen, which I'm deliberately still not showing it to you guys yet, but last year it said he was just going to be a free agent after the 1 year. So I didn't know if that mean we still were going to be able to hang on to him or if he was just going to be gone. We were able to hang on to him, which is good. And I spent a lot of time last year talking about how nice of an arm this would be to have in the big leagues. 73 overall, B potential, still going to get better, massive hits per 9. But the problem with him last year, and the reason that we never got the chance to call him up, was because he wasn't on the 40-man roster, and when you're not on the 40-man roster, you don't get the call-ups, you don't get to call up player locks, and you don't get fast tracks. And this is definitely about to be the most frustrating part yet, because I really wanted Joe Barlow to be on our big league team, and not only is he not on the big league team, he's still not on the 40-man. So there's going to be another year of knowing this dude is on our team, in our system, and we can't use him in the big leagues. We're never going to be able to use him. I don't know if anything happens over the course of the regular season that can bump somebody onto the 40-man. Another arm stuck in the minors is Tanner Banks. At least this one makes a bit more sense because he's a 68 overall. He's a D potential. Still another guy I'd rather have than Davy Garcia or even John Brebbia, if we're being honest. But the next and last thing that we're about to talk about with the rosters is probably what gets me the most frustrated about Joe Barlow, is because another thing the CPU likes to do isn't just sign random players for the big league squad, but it's also to sign random veterans that they just stick in the minor leagues. So we have a couple of those, the first one being Anthony DeSclafani. And like, if we didn't have starting pitching, or if this was last year, this would actually be a good player to have in our organization because he is on the 40 man. He could get called up. But right now, this doesn't provide any value to us because all of our starters are better, and we have Jared Schuster, who's better if we have a chance to call somebody up. Another one that got signed is Domingo Germán. This one's not as egregious though because he's not on the 40 man. The one that really gets me though is a relief pitcher by the name of Jordan Lyles. And this man at a 62 overall at a D potential at 34 years old was not only signed but was placed on the 40 man roster. So like, this is what gets me so mad about this is we have a guy in Joe Barlow who is a 73, good potential, young-ish. We don't need to go out and sign anybody. You just add this guy to the 40 man and the roster spot is set. But instead, for some reason that no matter how much I try and think about it, I cannot think of any reason that it would make sense. They go out and they sign somebody like this to throw on the 40 man to then block our better option from being on the 40 man roster. It makes no sense. I don't know. It's probably not worth as much energy as I'm putting into this, being frustrated by this stuff. It's definitely not worth the amount of time I've wasted in this episode talking about it. So I guess I just kind of gotta let it go. I mean, I've said it before, these are kind of the rights you sign away when you play March to October. That's one of the things about the mode that is supposed to make it easier, which I get. You know, it's supposed to be a less in-depth mode designed to get you through a season. It's just, for me, somebody who likes the depth, it frustrates me a bit. And this is the kind of stuff that kind of pushes me towards wanting to play franchise mode instead. But I did say at the start of this that this was going to be like the ultimate March to October experience. We're going to play as long as we possibly can in the amount of time that we have with this White Sox team in March to October, and I intend to do that. So ranting out of the way, I actually think that's where I'm going to end this one today because I thought I set all of our trade stuff, but it turns out that I didn't. And also glancing at the amount of time I've been recording, I ranted way too long about our roster. So this video is long enough anyway. We'll set up our trade screen at the start of next episode. We'll get into that. So I guess now that it's all said and done, this was not a great way to start our title defense season, losing in a walk-off on opening day, starting 1-4, and then getting all frustrated about the rosters. So hopefully next time out, next episode, we can get things turned around pretty quick. But yeah, there will be more gameplay, more productivity, and less ranting in the next episode, I promise. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me today, and I will see you next time.